In Texas, the dead don't rest in peace. They check in, they haunt, and they never leave. The echoes of forgotten souls wander through these old, stately buildings, their restless energy lingering in every creaking floorboard and whispering breeze. Across the Lone Star State, there are hotels where the living aren't the only ones who check in. From the grand halls of historic landmarks to the eerie corners of once bustling resorts, some places hold dark secrets that refuse to stay buried. Have you ever wondered what it would feel like to sleep in a bed where the spirits of the past might still be lurking? To feel a cold breath on your neck or hear the echo of footsteps when no one is there? In this video, we'll explore 15 of the scariest haunted hotels in Texas. From the tragic history that haunts their walls to the ghostly figures who refuse to leave, these locations have witnessed chilling paranormal events that will make you question whether you're truly alone. Stay with us as we uncover the bone-chilling stories behind these haunted hotels and dive deep into the mysteries they hold. Trust me, you won't want to sleep after hearing these terrifying accounts. Haunted Hotel Number 1. The Emily Morgan Hotel, San Antonio. What if your room was once a surgical operating room, and the spirits never left? The moment you step through the lobby of the Emily Morgan Hotel, a strange stillness greets you. The air feels heavier here, as if the building itself is holding its breath. The flicker of dim lights above creates jagged shadows on the walls, twisting in unnatural ways. A creak of the floorboards underfoot send a shiver down your spine, as if someone or something might be walking just ahead of you. The faint scent of antiseptic lingers in the air, a lingering reminder of the building's medical past. As you walk down the long corridor, the walls seem to close in, the eerie quiet broken only by the distant hum of the old elevator. There's a tension here, a pulse beneath the surface that seems to beat in time with your own heartbeat. And somewhere hidden in the shadows, you get the feeling that you're not as alone as you thought. The Emily Morgan Hotel, nestled in the heart of San Antonio, has a history as chilling as its haunted reputation. Once known as the Emily Morgan Hospital, it opened its doors in 1924, serving as a medical facility for the city's residents. During its years as a hospital, it housed a psychiatric ward and a morgue, providing the backdrop for an unsettling number of tragedies. From surgeries gone wrong to the suffering of patients who never left, the building saw its fair share of pain. In 1985, the hospital closed, and in 1999, the building was transformed into the luxury hotel it is today. But some say the spirits that roamed the halls as a hospital never left. It's said that the restless souls of those who passed within the walls of this former medical facility have lingered, unable to find peace. The haunting at the Emily Morgan Hotel is believed to have begun with the deaths of patients, many of whom met their untimely end on the operating table. Others, who died in the psychiatric ward, are thought to have been trapped in their torment, their spirits unable to escape the dark history of the place. But it's not just the patients who haunt these halls. A woman in white, often referred to as the nurse or lady in white, has been seen gliding through the hotel's halls. Some say she is a figure of mercy, while others believe she is a vengeful spirit, still trying to care for the lost souls of the hospital. The origin of this apparition remains shrouded in mystery, but her presence is felt in every corner. Guests at the Emily Morgan Hotel often recount spine-chilling encounters with this mysterious woman in white. She's seen floating down the hallways, her ghostly figure shimmering in the dim light. Sometimes she's heard, her footsteps echoing softly as if she's walking in and out of rooms that aren't supposed to be occupied. Those who have stayed in rooms previously used as operating theaters report strange sensations of coldness, like the presence of someone or something watching them. Another haunting figure is that of shadowy apparitions. These dark shapes have been seen moving along the walls, shifting and sliding in ways no living person can replicate. One guest even reported seeing a shadow figure cross the floor and disappear into the walls, leaving behind only a feeling of terror. The strange occurrences don't stop at apparitions. The Emily Morgan Hotel has become infamous for its paranormal activity. Guests have reported hearing unexplained moaning and distant cries echoing through the halls at night. Some have experienced the sensation of being touched, only to find no one nearby. One particularly chilling incident involved a guest waking up to find long, bloody handprints smeared on the bathroom mirror. No one had entered the room since the guest went to sleep. Cold spots are common, particularly in areas where surgeries once took place. The air can grow inexplicably icy, even on the hottest summer nights. The sensation of dread often accompanies these temperature changes, as if the very walls are alive with the remnants of the past. One guest reported a night that would haunt them forever. After retiring to their room, they fell into a restless sleep, only to wake up in the middle of the night to a sharp, cold pressure on their chest. When they tried to move, the sensation of unseen hands gripping their body left them paralyzed in fear. The next morning, the guest discovered long, bloody handprints on the bathroom mirror, as if something or someone had been trying to reach them. There was no explanation, only terror. As night falls, the sounds of hospital gurneys rolling down invisible hallways grow louder. Some say that if you listen closely at 3 a.m., you might hear the faint, haunting squeal of a gurney's wheels, pushing through the darkness, its occupant long since gone. But who, or what, is pushing it? Would you dare sleep in a room that was once a surgical operating theater? Comment below and tell us if you would spend a night at the Emily Morgan Hotel, or if you'd rather stay far, far away. Haunted Hotel Number 2, the Driskill Hotel, Austin. What if the sound of a bouncing ball in the hallway meant a child was still playing from beyond the grave? Step into the Driskill Hotel, and you're immediately surrounded by history. The air is heavy with elegance, but beneath the chandeliers and polished marble floors lies something darker. Every creak of the floorboards, every flicker of light, whispers secrets from the past. The thick carpets can't muffle the soft giggle of a child or the sudden click of a door shutting on its own. The grand staircase rises like a spine in the center of the hotel. And it's there that many say the haunting truly begins. Late at night, guests report footsteps echoing through empty halls, voices murmuring just out of earshot, and a bouncing ball rolling down corridors with no child in sight. This is the Driskill Hotel, a place where luxury meets the paranormal. The Driskill Hotel opened its doors in 1886, built by wealthy cattle baron Jesse Driskill as a symbol of his success. Located in downtown Austin, Texas, the hotel was designed to impress. Ornate decor, marble statues, and grandeur fit for governors and presidents. But Jesse Driskill's dream didn't last long. Just a year later, he lost the hotel in a game of cards, and from then on, it seemed like bad luck stuck to the walls. Throughout the decades, the Driskills saw its share of tragedy. Its beautiful halls have hosted balls, banquets, and high society, but also death, despair, and ghost stories that would terrify even the bravest traveler. The most well-known stories come from 3 tragic events. First, the death of a 4-year-old girl who is said to have fallen to her death down the grand staircase while chasing her bouncing ball. It was a terrible accident, but many believe her spirit never left. Then there are the 2 separate tales of brides who took their own lives in room 329, decades apart, yet eerily similar. Both women were said to be heartbroken and alone. The first bride in the 1940s was jilted at the altar. The second bride, years later, was struggling with depression. Both reportedly ended their lives in the bathroom with the same method. These tragic events are believed to have left deep emotional energy in the hotel, drawing spirits to it, or perhaps trapping them there. Many guests claim to hear the sound of a ball bouncing late at night in the hallway near the staircase. Sometimes it's followed by the soft laughter of a little girl. When they go out to check, the hall is empty, but the sound continues, as if the child is just around the corner, forever out of sight. Others say they've seen the ghost of a young girl in Victorian clothing peeking out from behind the columns, or standing silently near the stairs with a sad expression on her face. She never speaks. She just watches. Room 329 is now infamous. Guests who stay there often report feeling overwhelming sadness, sudden cold spots, and lights flickering without reason. One woman said she woke up to the sound of sobbing in the bathroom, only to find it empty. Another guest claimed her toiletries were rearranged while she slept, each item lined up neatly, like a ritual. One staff member shared that they were cleaning the room alone when the shower suddenly turned on, even though no one else was on that floor. When they opened the curtain, no one was there. Just steam and the faint smell of roses, the scent one of the brides was known to wear. A family checked into the hotel on vacation and were staying near the staircase. Around midnight, the father heard a soft thumping outside the door. Curious, he looked through the peephole and saw a red ball roll past the door. He opened it quickly. Nothing, just silence. But his daughter, around the same age as the ghost girl, said she had a dream that night of playing with a girl in a white dress. She said the girl had no shoes and cold hands. Another chilling account involved a couple who stayed in room 329. The woman woke up crying, unable to explain why. When her partner turned on the light, they noticed that the bathroom mirror had fogged up, even though no one had used it. Written in the fog, with a finger, were the words, "Don't leave me." Disembodied voices and whispering near the stairwell and in rooms late at night. Sudden drops in temperature, especially in room 329. Phantom smells, like perfume or cigar smoke, with no source. Lights turning on and off without anyone touching them. Bouncing ball sounds, followed by laughter. Cold spots that move across the room as if a ghost is passing through. Objects shifting on their own, even in locked rooms. Some paranormal investigators believe the energy is strongest near the staircase and room 329. They've recorded EVPs of a child's giggle, and even one faint, heart-wrenching voice saying, "Please stay." Several ghost hunting teams have visited the Driskill, and many walked away shaken. One team used spirit boxes, asking questions aloud in room 329. When asked, "Why are you still here?" a faint female voice replied, "Heartbroken." Another team captured a thermal camera image of a small figure near the staircase when no one was there. EMF readers spike frequently in the hotel, especially in empty rooms. Investigators have also picked up shadow figures in video footage. Quick movements across hallways that vanish on playback. One team claimed they were locked out of their own room from the inside, with the deadbolt engaged. Security had to break in and found no one inside. Historical photos of brides, flickering candles, and reenactments of the bathroom writing, "Don't leave me," would raise the fear factor. The halls themselves should be shown with low ambient noise, evoking unease. The Driskill is one of the most haunted and well-known hotels in Texas, drawing ghost hunters and thrill seekers from around the world. It's beautiful and historic, but for many, the beauty hides something tragic. It's not just a hotel. It's a monument to lost souls, a place where time stands still for the heartbroken and the forgotten. Would you dare spend the night in room 329? Or walk the grand staircase alone at midnight? Share your thoughts in the comments. Haunted Hotel number 3. The Minger Hotel, San Antonio. They say more than 30 ghosts roam its halls. One of them still orders drinks at the bar, even though he died over a century ago. As you step into the Minger Hotel, the air seems to change. It's cooler, quieter, like time has slowed down. The thick scent of aged wood, leather, and history fills the grand lobby. Just outside, the Alamo stands as a reminder of Texas' violent past. But inside the Minger, the echoes are personal. Portraits stare down from the walls, as if watching your every move. Footsteps click across the tiled floor, but when you turn, no one's there. Whispers ride the air like wind in empty corridors. Even the bar, warm, golden, and full of charm, feels like it holds secrets no one dares speak aloud. This hotel doesn't just preserve history, it lives with it. Built in 1859, the Minger Hotel is one of the oldest and most historic hotels in Texas. Located right next to the Alamo, It quickly became a gathering place for soldiers, politicians, and high society. The Minger Bar, added in 1887, was a favorite of President Theodore Roosevelt, who famously used it to recruit his Rough Riders before heading off to fight in the Spanish-American War. Over the years, the hotel has hosted famous names like Ulysses S. Grant, Robert E. Lee, Oscar Wilde, and Babe Ruth. It has also survived fires, epidemics, and war. But according to many, not everyone who checked in ever left. The Minger Hotel's long history, its connection to the Alamo, and the thousands of souls who've passed through its doors have made it one of the most haunted places in Texas. Staff and guests have reported over 30 different spirits over the decades. Some are friendly, others not so much. One of the most famous ghosts is that of Sally White, a chambermaid who worked at the hotel in the 1870s. According to hotel records, Sally got into a violent argument with her jealous husband, who believed she was unfaithful. He attacked her just outside the hotel, and she died 2 days later. The hotel even paid for her funeral. Today, many guests report seeing a woman in a maid's uniform, carrying towels or cleaning rooms that are already spotless, and sometimes not even occupied. Guests often report waking in the middle of the night to the sound of rustling sheets or soft footsteps, only to see a figure standing at the end of the bed, sometimes a maid, sometimes a shadowy figure in old-fashioned clothes. The most famous spirit is that of Theodore Roosevelt himself. His ghost is said to linger in the Minger Bar, wearing his Rough Rider uniform, leaning against the bar as if waiting for his drink. Some bartenders say they've served drinks to men who disappear mid-sentence, leaving a cold spot and a full glass behind. In the hallways, guests have seen Civil War soldiers, their uniforms dusty and bloodstained. Others have seen women in Victorian dresses, gliding silently across the ballroom floor. Some even claim to have heard gunshots or the faint clash of swords, perhaps echoes of the Alamo, just next door. A couple staying in the hotel in room 205, close to one of the reported hotspots, said they were awoken around 3 a.m. by a gentle knock on their door. When they opened it, no one was there, but a few minutes later, they heard soft footsteps and the sound of fabric swishing, like someone walking in a long dress. The next morning, their towels were folded neatly at the foot of the bed, though they hadn't called for housekeeping. Another traveler staying near the bar reported sitting down for a drink late at night. A man in an old-fashioned suit and hat sat beside him and began talking about riding to Cuba. The guest laughed, thinking it was a reenactor, but when he turned his head, just briefly, the man was gone. When he asked the bartender, the man just nodded and said, "Yeah, he's been dead a long time." Over the years, hotel staff and guests have witnessed apparitions of maids, soldiers, and old-time guests. Sudden cold spots, especially in the bar and second floor. Voices whispering from empty rooms. Lights flickering and TVs turning on by themselves. Shadows moving across hallways or behind curtains. Doors opening and closing without anyone nearby, unexplained scents, like cigar smoke and perfume. Some rooms are so active that guests refuse to stay the full night. Room 306, in particular, is known for sudden temperature drops and loud knocking noises. Ghost hunting teams have conducted multiple investigations at the Minger. Many use EMF detectors, spirit boxes, and thermal cameras. They've caught unexplained voices on recordings, including one that clearly said, "She's mine," in a female-sounding room. Some teams claim to have captured photos of full-body apparitions standing in doorways, only to vanish seconds later. During one investigation, a thermal camera picked up a warm human figure in a chair in the bar, even though the room was empty. When they approached, the temperature dropped sharply, and the figure was gone. The Minger Hotel is a piece of living Texas history. Its walls have seen war, celebration, heartbreak, and death. Today, it remains a luxury destination, but also a paranormal hotspot. Ghost hunters and curious travelers still come in hopes of catching a glimpse of Roosevelt himself, or maybe Sally White, quietly cleaning up after a century of guests. Behind each ghost story is a real human story, lives interrupted by violence, sorrow, or unfinished business. While these tales entertain and frighten, they also remind us that the past is never truly gone. The spirits of the Minger may just be echoes, or perhaps they're still waiting for someone to notice them. Would you grab a drink with a ghost? Or spend the night in the same hallway where 30 spirits roam? Tell us your thoughts, or share your own haunted hotel experience in the comments below. Haunted Hotel number 4. Hotel Galvez, Galveston. She waited for her fiancé to return from the sea, but he never came. Heartbroken, she took her life in room 501. Now, she waits still, forever known as the Lovelorn Lady. When you walk into Hotel Galvez, the soft crash of ocean waves just outside seems to follow you indoors. The lobby is beautiful, with shining chandeliers and polished marble floors, but the air feels different, heavy, like it carries sorrow. The salty breeze sneaks in through the revolving door, bringing with it the whispers of the past. Somewhere in the distance, a ball bounces once, then again. But when you turn, there's no child in sight, just shadows dancing on the walls and a silence that feels too still. Hotel Galvez isn't just a seaside resort. It's a building full of tragedy, love, and loss, all frozen in time. Hotel Galvez was built in 1911, just a decade after the Great Storm of 1900, which was the deadliest natural disaster in U.S. history. Galveston, once a thriving port city, was nearly wiped out by the hurricane that killed over 6,000 people. As the city began to rebuild, Hotel Galvez rose from the ruins like a symbol of hope and glamour. It soon became known as the Queen of the Gulf. Celebrities, presidents, and socialites stayed here, drawn by its elegant charm and oceanfront views. But behind the beauty of this grand hotel is a heartbreaking story that continues to haunt it to this day. The most famous ghost at Hotel Galvez is known as the Lovelorn Lady. Her story begins in the 1950s. She was a young woman staying in room 501, waiting for her fiancé to return from sea. He was a sailor or soldier, no one's sure anymore. But what is certain is that he was lost during a voyage. She waited and waited, growing more worried with each passing day. One afternoon, she received word that his ship had gone down. No survivors. Overcome with grief, and with her dreams of marriage shattered, she went to the hotel's turret, where the sea was visible in every direction. There, she hanged herself. Her body was discovered the next morning by hotel staff. But her story didn't end there. Many guests and hotel workers have reported seeing the ghost of a woman in white near room 501 or walking slowly along the 5th floor hallway. Sometimes she's seen staring out of windows, looking toward the sea, as if still waiting. Others report hearing soft sobs or feeling a chill in the room, even when the windows are closed. Some have checked into room 501 unaware of its past, only to report restless nights, feelings of being watched, or sudden sadness that can't be explained. A few guests said they saw their bathroom light flicker or heard the sound of fabric rustling when no one was near. One staff member told the story of cleaning room 501 when she felt a presence behind her, so strong she turned around, expecting to see a guest. No one was there. A soft knock came at the bathroom door, but again, no one was inside. She finished quickly and refused to clean that room again. The Lovelorn Lady isn't the only ghost in the hotel. Several visitors and staff have seen the ghost of a little girl, around 6 or 7 years old. She is usually spotted bouncing a ball near the lobby or staircase, her laughter echoing softly. Sometimes, guests will hear the sound of a ball bouncing down the hallway or rolling under their door late at night. But when they open the door, there's nothing there. No ball, no child, just the empty hallway and silence. Others have caught glimpses of her running up the stairs, only for her to vanish near the 2nd floor. Some believe she may have drowned during one of the city's many storms and found a new home in the safety of the hotel. One couple who stayed on the 5th floor said they were woken by soft sobbing in the middle of the night. At first, they thought it was someone in the hallway, but the sound came from inside the room. They turned on the lights. No one was there. The sound stopped. When they turned the lights off, it started again. They slept with the lights on for the rest of the night. Another guest wrote in a travel review that he saw a woman in an old-fashioned dress standing in front of the window in room 501. He thought it was strange because she never moved. When he mentioned it to the front desk, the clerk said calmly, "That's our love-lorn lady." Paranormal researchers have visited the Galvez multiple times, especially room 501. They've used spirit boxes, EMF readers, and temperature gauges. Many teams have recorded unexplained cold spots, fluctuating signals, and whispered voices. One investigator captured a faint but clear voice saying, "He's gone." Another recorded the sound of a ball bouncing, even though no one was in the hallway. Cameras placed near the stairwell once caught a shadow moving upward against the light when no one was there. Hotel Galvez is more than a place to sleep. It's a place where love and tragedy are etched into the walls. For some, it's a charming escape by the sea. For others, it's a site of ghostly memories of a woman still waiting for a return that will never come. Some believe the love-lorn lady isn't angry, just lonely, that her spirit lingers not to scare, but to hold on to the last place she felt love. Would you stay in room 501? Have you ever seen a ghostly child playing alone? Share your thoughts and your own haunted hotel experiences in the comments. Haunted Hotel number 5. The Baker Hotel, Mineral Wells. She was beautiful, mysterious, and deeply in love, but her affair ended in heartbreak. Now, she walks the halls of the Baker Hotel in a flowing white gown, forever searching for peace. The Baker Hotel opened in 1929, during a time when Mineral Wells was famous for its healing waters. The Grand Hotel quickly became a luxurious destination, attracting celebrities, politicians, and wealthy travelers from all over the country. But behind the glamour was a darker history of secrets, sickness, and sorrow. After decades of success, the hotel eventually fell into decline and closed its doors in 1972. Since then, it has become one of Texas's most haunted landmarks. One of the most well-known spirits at the Baker Hotel is the woman in white, believed to have been the mistress of the hotel's former manager. Their affair was whispered about, but when it ended badly, the woman reportedly died by suicide. Jumping from the top floor of the hotel. Some say her room was on the 7th floor, where guests and investigators continue to experience strange activity. Her ghost is often seen drifting silently through the hallways, especially near the upper floors. Witnesses describe her as wearing a long, white gown with a sorrowful expression. Guests who stay on the 7th floor have reported perfume scents with no source, the sound of high heels clicking, and even the soft sobbing of a woman late at night. The woman in white isn't the only spirit said to haunt the Baker Hotel. Guests and staff have reported a wide range of ghostly occurrences over the years, including unexplained noises like footsteps, whispering, and doors opening or slamming on their own, cold spots, and sudden changes in temperature, especially in rooms long out of use, shadow figures seen darting down hallways or standing motionless in corners, a ghostly boy who is said to laugh and play tricks, often hiding personal items or tugging on clothes. Some believe that the many deaths that occurred in or around the hotel, suicides, accidents, and illnesses, have left behind a residual energy that continues to stir to this day. Paranormal investigators have frequently explored the Baker Hotel, capturing EVPs, electronic voice phenomena, ghostly photographs, and videos of strange anomalies. One visitor said he saw a woman in white glide past his room late at night, only to vanish when he stepped into the hall. Another guest, staying on the 5th floor, reported waking up to see a tall shadow standing at the foot of his bed. It didn't move. It didn't speak. After several seconds, it faded into the darkness. The Baker Hotel may be abandoned, but is far from empty. Its past lingers in the air, in the creaks of the floors, and the hush of long-forgotten conversations. Whether it's the heartbroken mistress or the many others who lived and died within its walls, the spirits of the Baker Hotel aren't ready to check out just yet. Would you spend a night on the 7th floor of the Baker Hotel? Let us know in the comments, or share your own haunted hotel experiences. Haunted Hotel number 6. Old Park Hotel, Ballinger. It was once a saloon, a schoolhouse, a boarding house, and now it's a hot spot for spirits who refuse to move on. At the Old Park Hotel, the walls remember everything. Built in 1886, the Old Park Hotel has worn many faces over the years. It started as a frontier-era schoolhouse, then became a saloon, later a bordello, and eventually transformed into a boarding hotel. Located in Ballinger, Texas, the building stood witness to the rough days of the Wild West. Gunfights, tragedies, and untimely deaths all etched into its walls. Because of its long and varied history and the intense energy left behind, many believe it is now home to numerous restless spirits. Locals whisper that the spirits began to stir not long after the hotel's early days as a saloon, where violence and vice were common. Over the decades, deaths in the building, including reported suicides and mysterious accidents, only deepened the building's dark energy. It is said that the spirits are tied to different time periods in the hotel's past: the cowboys, the school children, the former owners, and even ladies of the night who once lived upstairs. Guests and paranormal investigators alike have reported a wide range of paranormal activity. Some of the most frequently encountered include disembodied voices whispering or shouting names in empty rooms, the sound of boots walking across hardwood floors when no one is present, doors opening and closing on their own, especially late at night, apparitions of cowboys, a woman in a long dress, and even a child peeking around corners. One frequent spirit is believed to be that of a former owner who is still watching over the place. Another chilling figure is a shadowy man who is seen standing in doorways, silently watching before fading into thin air. A recent guest recalled waking up to hear children laughing, only to find their room empty and the hallway silent. Another visitor claimed they were locked in their room, despite there being no lock on the inside of the door. During a paranormal investigation, an EVP recording captured a voice clearly saying, "Get out," even though the room was empty except for the investigators. The Old Park Hotel has embraced its haunted reputation. It is now a popular stop for ghost tours and overnight investigations, drawing paranormal enthusiasts from across Texas and beyond. But those who stay the night are warned. Not all spirits are friendly, and some don't like company. Would you dare sleep in a room where ghostly cowboys still walk the floor? Drop your thoughts or ghost encounters in the comments. Haunted Hotel number 7. Miss Molly's Hotel, Fort Worth. In the heart of the Fort Worth stockyards, there's a room where the past lingers, and sometimes it knocks. Built in 1910, Miss Molly's Hotel started out as a boarding house, later becoming a brothel during the Wild West era. It operated under the name The Oasis when it was a speakeasy during Prohibition, and eventually returned to functioning as a hotel and bed and breakfast. Located above the Old West Exchange building in the stockyards, Miss Molly's has witnessed decades of rowdy cowboy culture, secret rendezvous, and more than a few untimely deaths. With such a colorful and often tragic past, it's no wonder many believe the spirits of former residents never checked out. Miss Molly's was known for its vibrant nightlife, and during its time as a brothel, it saw its share of heartbreak, betrayal, and even violence. Several women are said to have died under mysterious or tragic circumstances in their rooms. Over time, visitors and staff began to report strange occurrences, believed to be the work of former working girls, unsettled patrons, and even the ghost of a cowboy who still roams the halls looking for company. The hotel is small, just 8 themed rooms. But the paranormal activity inside is anything but. Many guests report apparitions of women in old-fashioned dresses, especially in the cattleman's room and the madam's room, sudden cold spots in the middle of a hot Texas summer. The smell of perfume or cigar smoke with no source. Furniture moving slightly on its own, lights flickering without cause. A cowboy spirit who has been seen leaning against door frames or heard pacing with spurred boots. One ghost is said to be Josie, a former madam, who occasionally appears to guests, usually watching silently from a corner before disappearing. A couple staying in the railroader's room reported waking up to see a woman in vintage clothing standing at the foot of their bed. When they turned on the light, she vanished. Another guest left their room briefly, only to return and find their belongings rearranged and the bathroom faucet running, despite the door being locked the entire time. One of the eeriest incidents came from a staff member who claims to have heard a female voice softly humming in an empty room late at night. Today, Miss Molly's welcomes brave guests and paranormal enthusiasts looking to spend a night with Fort Worth's ghostly past. Though the beds are made and the rooms cozy, the energy of the past remains thick in the air, especially after dark. Could you sleep in a room where the ghost of a cowboy might be waiting outside your door? Let us know in the comments below. Haunted Hotel number 8. The Jefferson Hotel, Jefferson. In Jefferson, the past is never truly gone. And if you stay at its most famous hotel, you might wake up with someone or something already in your room. The Jefferson Hotel, located in the small but historic town of Jefferson, Texas, was originally built in the 1850s and served many roles, including as a warehouse, cotton exchange, and brothel before becoming a hotel. During Jefferson's heyday as a riverport town, the hotel hosted many travelers, merchants, and even outlaws. Its long history is steeped in tragedy, mystery, and stories of sorrowful souls who never found peace. The combination of emotional residue and age has turned the Jefferson Hotel into one of Texas's most active paranormal hotspots. It's said that the hotel's hauntings stem from centuries of heartbreak, loss, and violent death. Stories speak of a woman who was jilted at the altar, who later ended her life in one of the upstairs rooms. There are also reports of deaths due to illness and foul play during the building's more seedy history. These layers of trauma are believed to have opened the door for lingering spirits. One of the most talked about apparitions is the woman in black. Guests often report seeing her standing silently at the end of beds or gliding through hallways without a sound. She's described as wearing a long black Victorian dress and is said to carry a sorrowful, piercing gaze. Other eerie occurrences include disembodied whispers in empty rooms, sudden loud banging or footsteps when no one is around, locked doors unlocking on their own, sometimes in front of guest furniture moving just out of sight, room doors slamming shut without explanation. Some rooms, particularly Room 19 and Room 5, have had so much reported activity that guests often refuse to stay the entire night. One guest reported being woken up in the middle of the night by the sensation of someone sitting at the edge of the bed. When they turned on the lamp, the indentation remained, but no one was there. Another visitor claimed they were locked inside their room for several minutes, even though the lock had no issues earlier. When the door finally opened, it did so slowly, as if someone was opening it from the other side. Paranormal teams who visited the Jefferson Hotel have captured EVP recordings of a female voice sobbing, and one team member even claimed to be scratched while investigating the upper floor. Today, the Jefferson Hotel embraces its haunted status. Some guests come seeking a peaceful stay. Others come hoping for a brush with the beyond. Whether you believe it or not, those who spend the night often leave with stories they can't explain. Would you check into a room where the woman in black might be watching you sleep? Drop your answer below. Haunted Hotel number 9. The Excelsior House Hotel, Jefferson. They say not all guests at the Excelsior House Hotel have heads or intentions of resting in peace. Built in the 1850s, the Excelsior House Hotel is one of the oldest continuously operating hotels in Texas. Located in Jefferson, a town rich in Civil War and Steamboat-era history, the Excelsior has hosted famous guests such as Ulysses S. Grant, Oscar Wilde, and Steven Spielberg. But behind its antique charm and elegant furniture lies a long, ghostly history. Many say that the energy of the 19th century never left, and some of its guests didn't either. With a history dating back over 170 years, it's no surprise the hotel has seen its share of sorrow, illness, and untimely death. Tales of violent accidents, romantic betrayals, and sudden illnesses have circulated for decades, each adding a layer to the hotel's haunted reputation. The most terrifying apparition is that of a headless man who is often seen wandering the hallways or standing silently near guest room doors. His presence is said to bring with it a sense of dread. Many guests report feeling physically ill after seeing him. Other recurring spirits include a woman in a flowing white dress, often spotted near the staircase or in second-floor windows. Unexplained footsteps that pace back and forth outside rooms at night. Doors that open and close on their own, even when locked. Cold drafts that move across the room suddenly, without any air source. Some guests say they feel someone sitting beside them on the bed, only to find no one there when they turn on the light. A well-known story involves Steven Spielberg, who stayed at the Excelsior while filming Poltergeist. He reportedly left suddenly in the middle of the night after experiencing a loud, repeated knocking on his headboard, and no one was there. Another guest claimed to see the headless man standing just outside their door, motionless, before he slowly turned and walked away, vanishing around the corner. One couple reported waking to the sound of furniture being dragged across the room above them. When they asked the front desk the next morning, they were told no one had stayed in the room above. The Excelsior House Hotel remains a charming southern inn with a dark side. Guests come for its rich history, and many leave with chilling tales of their own. Whether you're a history lover or a ghost hunter, it's one of Jefferson's most unforgettable places to stay. Have you ever seen a ghost without a face or a head? Tell us what you'd do if you saw one outside your door. Haunted Hotel Number 10. The Faust Hotel, New Braunfels. At the Faust Hotel, not all guests leave after checkout, and some still walk the halls as if they never did. The Faust Hotel was built in 1929 in New Braunfels, Texas, just as the city was entering a period of growth and change. Named after local businessman Walter Faust, the hotel was designed to bring modern luxury to a growing town. With its striking architecture and elegant interiors, it quickly became a local icon. But as decades passed, stories began to emerge of guests seeing things they couldn't explain and hearing things that shouldn't be there. Over time, the Faust Hotel earned a reputation not just for its charm, but for its ghosts. While no single tragedy is known to be the cause of the haunting, many believe that the spirits lingering here are former guests who died in the hotel, or those who loved it so much in life they couldn't bear to leave. Some also speculate that the age of the building, paired with years of energy from thousands of visitors, has created a perfect storm for paranormal activity. Paranormal reports at the Faust Hotel include doors opening and closing on their own, even when fully latched, lights flickering in unoccupied rooms and hallways, cold spots that seem to move around the room, apparitions of guests from another time, men in old-fashioned suits, women in vintage dresses, glimpsed in mirrors or walking briefly past doorways. Guests have also reported the eerie feeling of being watched, especially in certain rooms on the upper floors. One visitor shared that they were awoken in the middle of the night by the sound of footsteps pacing in the hallway. When they opened the door, no one was there, but the sound continued right outside. Another couple returned to their room after dinner to find the closet wide open and the lamp blinking repeatedly, even though they had turned it off and shut everything before leaving. In one chilling case, a guest said they saw a man standing at the window, staring out into the street. When she asked the front desk about the person in the room above hers, she was told, "That floor is closed for renovation." The Faust Hotel remains a working hotel to this day, welcoming guests from around the world. But those who stay there often report more than just comfort and hospitality. They come away with stories they can't explain from a hotel that may have more guests than it appears. If a door opened by itself in your hotel room, would you investigate or run for the elevator? Let us know in the comments. Haunted Hotel Number 11. The Magnolia Hotel, Seguin. In room 5, someone was murdered, and the room has never been the same since. The Magnolia Hotel in Seguin, Texas, dates back to the mid-1800s and is considered one of the oldest buildings in the area. Originally a 2-room log cabin, It expanded over time into a thriving hotel, serving travelers, settlers, and soldiers passing through the region. But with age came a history of darkness, one that still lingers in the walls today. The most chilling part of its past: a brutal murder in room 5, where a man was hacked to death in his sleep with a hatchet. Since that day, strange happenings in and around the room have never stopped. The murder in room 5 is believed to have sparked the strongest paranormal activity in the hotel. Over the decades, guests and owners alike have claimed the spirit of the murdered man, or possibly even the killer, never left. Beyond that, the Magnolia Hotel has seen its fair share of tragedy, illness, and violence, making it a spiritual hotspot for paranormal investigators. Reports include a ghostly woman in white seen wandering the halls, often vanishing when approached. Disembodied voices whispering in empty rooms. The sound of heavy boots pacing in the upstairs hallway when no one is there. Feelings of being watched, especially near room 5 and the old staircase. Sudden cold chills and lights flickering without explanation. Guests have woken up to the sensation of someone standing at the foot of the bed, watching them. One guest shared how they were taking a shower when they heard a clear knocking on the bathroom door, only to open it and find no one there. Another visitor, who stayed in room 5, said they woke up in the night to see a shadowy figure sitting at the edge of the bed. It vanished as soon as they reached for the light. A paranormal investigator once captured an EVP, electronic voice phenomenon, of a woman's voice softly saying he never left when they asked about the murder in room 5. Today, the Magnolia Hotel is partially restored and open for ghost tours and overnight stays. It has been featured on paranormal TV shows and has drawn attention from ghost hunters across the country. Locals say it's not just haunted, it's alive with spirits from a time long gone. Would you dare spend the night in room 5? Knowing what happened there? Drop your answer below. Haunted Hotel number 12. The Stockyards Hotel, Fort Worth. He died with his boots on, and he's still walking the halls. Located in the heart of Fort Worth's legendary Stockyards district, the Stockyards Hotel has stood as a Western icon since 1907. Known for its rich Old West atmosphere, it once hosted cattle barons, gunslingers, and even infamous outlaws like Bonnie and Clyde, who reportedly stayed in room 305. But beneath the polished wooden floors and historic charm lies a darker legacy. One cowboy checked in and never checked out after meeting his end in a violent gunfight nearby. The most talked about spirit believed to haunt the hotel is that of a cowboy who was shot and killed in a dispute. Some say it happened just outside the saloon doors. His restless spirit is said to have returned to the place he loved most, the Stockyards Hotel. Visitors and staff have reported phantom footsteps echoing down empty hallways, doors that seem to close by themselves, muffled voices and whispers, especially at night, coming from unoccupied rooms. The strong scent of cigar smoke, often near the staircase, with no smoker in sight. Guests waking in the middle of the night, convinced someone had been standing at their bedside. TVs and lights flickering or turning on by themselves in certain rooms. One guest, staying alone on the second floor, reported hearing the distinct sound of spurs jingling in the hallway just after midnight. When they peeked out, the corridor was empty. A hotel staff member later told them, "That's just the cowboy. He never leaves." Another guest said they heard two men arguing, followed by what sounded like a gunshot, but when they called the front desk, no one else had reported a disturbance and no one was found on the floor. To this day, the Stockyards Hotel remains a proud part of Fort Worth's cowboy heritage. But for those who know the stories, it's more than just a historic landmark. It's a place where the Old West still lingers, and some spirits just don't ride off into the sunset. If you heard spurs at midnight in an empty hallway, would you stay or check out immediately? Let us know in the comments. Haunted Hotel number 13. The Gunter Hotel, San Antonio. She checked in for the night, but she never left room 636. The Gunter Hotel, established in 1909, is one of San Antonio's most historic and elegant hotels, having hosted U.S. presidents and music legends like Robert Johnson, who famously recorded there. But behind its polished marble floors and classic charm lies a tale of horror that still chills visitors to this day. On the night of February 8th, 1965, something unspeakable happened in room 636. A man checked in with a woman. By morning, only he was seen leaving the room, looking nervous, carrying a large suitcase. What housekeeping staff found later was a crime scene soaked in blood, but the woman's body was never found. The gruesome murder and alleged dismemberment of the unidentified woman has left a lasting stain on the hotel's legacy. Many believe the woman's restless spirit is trapped in the room where her life ended so violently. Guests and employees have consistently reported chilling phenomena, especially in and around room 636. A woman in a white dress, seen drifting silently through the hall. Sudden cold spots often felt at the foot of the bed. The feeling of being watched, even when alone. The sound of water running in the bathroom when no one is inside. Faint whispers in the middle of the night, as if someone is trying to speak but can't quite form the words. One guest who stayed in a room adjacent to 636 reported hearing knocking on the shared wall, though the room was unoccupied at the time. When he opened his door to check the hallway, it was silent and empty. Another chilling report came from a hotel employee who said she saw a woman in a white gown walking toward the elevator. When she greeted her and turned her head for a second, the woman vanished without a sound. While the Gunner Hotel is proud of its role in Texas history and hospitality, it also embraces the mystery and the tragedy of room 636. Paranormal investigators, true crime enthusiasts, and curious travelers continue to flock there. Some seeking answers, others just hoping to feel the unmistakable chill of a spirit's presence. Would you dare spend a night in the infamous room 636? Or would you keep walking down the hall? Tell us in the comments. Haunted Hotel number 14. The Crockett Hotel, San Antonio. They died defending the Alamo, but some never left the battlefield and now march through your hotel room. The Crockett Hotel, named after the legendary frontiersman Davy Crockett, was built in 1909. But its story starts long before that. The hotel stands just steps away from the Alamo, the site of the famous 1836 battle where hundreds of Texan defenders, including Crockett himself, made their final stand against Mexican forces led by General Santa Anna. The ground on which the Crockett Hotel now sits was once soaked in blood, a direct part of the Alamo battlefield. Some believe this tragic past left a spiritual scar that the walls of the hotel cannot hide. After the brutal siege, it's said that many bodies of fallen soldiers were hastily buried or burned on the very land where the hotel now stands. That unresolved trauma is believed to fuel the persistent hauntings reported over the years. Guests and staff have described numerous eerie experiences, apparitions of soldiers in 19th century military uniforms, standing silently in corners or walking down hallways before vanishing into thin air. Sounds of cannon fire and musket shots in the dead of night, though there are no reenactments or events happening nearby. Heavy boots stomping in the halls when no one is around. Whispering voices speaking in Spanish and English, drifting through the air like echoes from the past. Sudden cold drafts in warm rooms, often near windows or the foot of beds. One guest staying on the third floor reported waking up to see a shadowy figure standing by the window, dressed like an old soldier, watching silently. When he reached for the lamp, the figure vanished into the wall. A hotel housekeeper once claimed to hear muffled battle cries coming from the empty banquet room, only to walk in and find the entire space eerily still, with chairs inexplicably moved out of place. The Crockett Hotel is proud of its deep connection to Texas history, but it also carries the weight of the spirits still tied to the land. Whether you're a skeptic or a believer, one thing is clear: history is alive here, and so are its ghosts. Would you sleep where Alamo soldiers are said to rise and roam? Let us know your thoughts below. Haunted Hotel number 15. The Hotel Lawrence, Dallas. Every hallway hides a secret, but at this hotel, that secret might be watching you from the shadows. In the heart of downtown Dallas, just steps from Dealey Plaza, stands a building that has watched history unfold for over a century. the Hotel Lawrence. Originally opened in the early 1900s, this historic hotel was once the pride of a growing city. It welcomed business travelers, tourists, and even prominent political figures. Its brick facade, grand marble lobby, and classic architecture made it a shining beacon of luxury during its prime. But behind the beautiful walls and finely furnished rooms, something darker lingers. Over the decades, the hotel saw economic crashes, violent events, and tragedies that time tried to forget. Some say the energy of those who suffered never truly left. And as the years passed, whispers began to surface. Whispers of shadows that move on their own. Whispers of voices that don't belong to the living. No one knows exactly when the hauntings began. Some say it started in the 1920s, when a young woman leapt to her death from the upper floor after receiving devastating news. Others claim the hotel sits on a crossroads of spiritual energy, where sorrow and fear pool like water in a basin. Whatever the cause, the stories from inside the Lawrence Hotel have only grown stranger, more disturbing, and harder to ignore. Guests on the third and fourth floors have reported seeing a woman in white, slowly walking down the hallway, her face blurred, her eyes empty. She always appears between 2 and 3 a.m. and never makes a sound. Sometimes she stands still at the end of the hallway, just staring. Others have described hearing soft whispering voices late at night. They're not coming from the rooms next door. They're coming from inside the room itself. And when the guest turns on the light, nothing is there. One chilling story comes from a man staying in room 501. He awoke around 3:30 a.m. to the feeling of ice-cold fingers brushing against his back. Thinking his blanket had slipped, he rolled over, only to feel something pull the sheet back. In the dim glow of the streetlight filtering through the curtains, he saw the indentation of a human figure beside him on the mattress. But no one was there. He checked out the next morning, pale, shaking, and refusing to ever return. Reported paranormal activity includes disembodied voices and breathing when guests are alone in their rooms, elevators moving on their own, stopping at empty floors, cold spots in the middle of warm rooms, shadow figures standing in mirrors but not visible in the room itself, lights flickering without cause, especially in rooms long reported to be haunted. Hotel staff have grown used to the eerie reports, but some refuse to work certain night shifts, especially on the 5th floor. A place known for unexplained noises, doors slamming, and guests waking up feeling watched. You may book a room alone, but someone else might be sharing your bed. Next time you check into a hotel in Texas, make sure you're the only one sleeping there. If these stories give you chills, like the video, subscribe for more haunted history, and hit that bell so you never miss a scare. Which of these haunted Texas hotels would you dare to spend the night in? Or maybe you already have? Tell us your story in the comments. We're listening.